What is up, YouTube? Frost the Hobidon here, and today we're doing a reaction video that was requested to me on Patreon. This was requested by Nevin Punzel. You've been a long-time member of my Patreon, and yeah, I've been doing the Secret Wars Invasions by Linkara. He requested this, so I'm going to give a look at this. And if you haven't checked out this video, I will leave a link in the description down below so you guys can go check out this video for yourself. Please support Linkara and Top of Fourth Walls videos. And yeah, go check out his channel. And before you hit like, comments, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to my channel. I most appreciate that. Like I said, happy birthday, Nevin Punzel. I wish you for brighter futures and brighter birthdays in the future, and a good day. And I hope you had a good birthday. I'm sorry, I'm a bit nervous. Anywho, it's been a while since I've done reaction videos for Patreon members. Need some more content. And if you want to request a video, you gotta be a member of my Patreon. And I know those who are willing to request a video from Patreon, you will get those later on in the future. Don't worry, I will get to you. Alright, without further ado, let's get on to the action, shall we? And I need a new VTuber avatar. I'm gonna be getting some I'm gonna get some help getting a new VTuber avatar. And with more expressions and maybe a full body. Alright, without further ado, let's get on started. This is long enough. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. And welcome back, my friends, to Event Comics Month 4, Secret Metal Armageddon 2.
Okay. Alrighty. Secret Metal. Sorry, I had a cough. This is a cool intro. Nice.
While the majority of votes this year skewed towards more modern events, we had a 30-year-old event last week. And today's one that's half its age, but still feels like it didn't happen that long ago.
Really?
This one I suspect got voted on because, like some other events people have voted on, it's a name being utilized for an upcoming Marvel Cinematic Universe story. Hello from the past, people rewatching this long after that came out. Hope the pandemic's over.
It's almost
Please
over.
let the pandemic be over.
It's almost
anyway,
over.
since this is the more modern event, we need to back up a bit and explain a lot of context for what happened leading into this. Some of it you should already know from previous episodes, but there's still a lot of it. As detailed in the House of M review, the Scarlet Witch supposedly went insane and her actions broke up the original Avengers. A new team of Avengers soon launched afterwards, and the events of House of M occurred. While on Earth, the Superhero Registration Act was starting to be discussed in the build-up to the event Comics Civil War, which I've only technically reviewed because instead I did a top 15 list of problems. And I keep thinking that maybe I should go ahead and put it back on the voting list for Event Comics Month.
True. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen Secret Wars and Secret Invasions, and I hear the MCU is trying to work on that due to its playing with the multiverse. We'll see how they handle it.
But that would also mean I'd have to read it again, and I hate that idea. There was another event comic happening focusing on Marvel cosmic stuff. Annihilation.
Ooh, I like that.
That's a whole story in itself, but the point is that the homeworld of the shape-shifting aliens known as the Skrulls was completely destroyed during it. In the wake of the Civil War, the Avengers splintered. There was the official group headed by Iron Man, sanctioned by the government and pro-registration, while a splinter group of Avengers led by Luke Cage, made of anti-registration heroes, was running around trying to do their own thing, especially in the wake of Captain America's death. Spoilers, he never got better. Captain America remained dead and Secret Empire never happened, and it was the only death in comics that was never undone.
Yeah.
And if you believe that, wow, you really are new here, aren't you? Anyway, point is that during this time, there was a prevailing criticism of Marvel that a lot of heroes were acting out of character, or at the very least, engaging in villainous and morally dubious activities, alienating fans of these heroes, etc. There was generally just this feeling like either the writing was bad, or that they needed to fit a square peg into a round hole, and it just wasn't working. Civil War was especially like that, and it left a sour taste in people's mouths. And Luke Cage began to suspect... yeah, something is up with all this. Maybe there was something more at play, something connecting all these events together. And during a mission that brought them to Japan, they ended up fighting the ninja organization known as the Hand and their leader, former Daredevil love interest and also once dead character Elektra.
Oh,
and that's when the other shoe dropped. During the fight, Elektra gets stabbed and dies, and her body reverts to a Skrull. A Skrull completely undetectable by magic, spider sense, telepathy, technological scan, etc., etc. Now, this wasn't the first time the Skrulls had attempted to invade Earth, but it was definitely the most elaborate. A massive effort was being made to try to cover all their bases and keeping the heroes of Earth from finding out. And the fact that they were infiltrating something like the Hand, a ninja organization that had nothing to do with major political power, meant that this was a very different sort of invasion.
Okay,
Jessica Drew,
makes sense.
aka Spider-Woman, was working with Luke Cage's Avengers until she decided to take the Skrull corpse to Tony Stark. The rest of the team was against this because, frankly to them, Tony Stark was the one acting the most out of character of all, and thus most likely to be a Skrull. Just to spoil it here, no, he was not. And you know what?
Oh, yeah.
This is a point where I
makes
have to
sense.
give Marvel some credit. They could have used this as a get-out-of-jail-free card. They could have used this to excuse all of the unpopular creative decisions
could've.
from the last few
You're
years,
right.
wipe the slate clean, but they didn't. They stuck to their guns and didn't try to undo what they had done. They believed firmly that these were the right creative decisions, and that takes some courage. It was probably the wrong call to make, but you have to acknowledge the conviction. They weren't taking the easy way out. Tony, needing someone
Makes
he
sense.
figured he could
Well, good for
mostly
them, but
trust, since
wish it
she
could've been
brought it to
better.
his attention, reinstated Spider-Woman onto his Avengers to try to suss out any Skrulls among them. Meanwhile, Nick Fury, in exile from S.H.I.E.L.D. and on the run for his involvement in another miniseries sometime back, discovered a Skrull imposter as well, and warned Maria Hill, who was placed in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. after him, to start being more cautious and paranoid about the people under her command while he tried to figure out how this all came together. As for the Skrulls themselves,
Hill
we
has
soon
always
had a
been
full
difficult.
breakdown of why they were doing this. Long story short, they had a new queen, Varank, I don't know, one previously banished for her religious beliefs and prophecy that the future of their race would be on Earth. As such, they truly believed with religious fervor that they needed to take over Earth. In fact, she believed so much in this cause that she decided to be part of the invasion force, taking over the life of a hero herself as part of this, Spider-Woman. Which is of course hilarious because the running joke at the time was that Spider-Woman kept acting as like a quadruple agent for multiple powers and people. For Hydra, for S.H.I.E.L.D., for Nick Fury, and now for the Skrulls.
Wow,
Things start
she's
coming
been,
to a head as more Skrulls become
Spider-Woman's
exposed,
been
either to
around.
readers or the audience. The Inhuman leader Black
Does the
Bolt,
does
Hank
MCU
Pym,
have the
who
rights
started the
to
50-state
Spider-Woman?
initiative in Civil
I
War,
mean, her
so
powers
that
are
every
different.
state in the
Sony's
USA
trying
would
to
have a
act like they
superhero
own
team
her,
in it,
but
and consequently a
I'm
Skrull
not
in each
sure who-
one, and
who
more.
owns
And that brings
Spider-Woman.
us to Secret Invasion itself. The
they
build-up
make the
was
Skrulls
massive,
ugly back
starting
then.
from that one exposed Elektra Skrull to now every book tying into it, and ad campaigns about Secret Invasion. The tagline, "Who do you trust?" And then finally, "Embrace change," showing Skrulls becoming a normal part of everyday life. The hype
Oh,
train
wow.
was honestly
That's-
pretty
that's
impressive,
good
matched
Photoshop.
only by Infinite Crisis a few years earlier at DC. Did the Secret Invasion event comic live up to the massive hype for it?
Embrace
Nope! And it can be summed up by my colleague, LAG. When I started doing videos, he had already done
That's some
several
good
comic
editing
reviews
with
before
the,
me,
Skrulls in real life
and that
photos.
includes one on Secret Invasion. And he summed up the event by its true name.
Secret Invasion. Or like damn obvious assault, am I right? Still got it.
Oh man.
Let's dig into Secret
Come on,
Invasion
give this man
and
some
show
food.
you what we mean.
Oh no! Oh, we just got into the title. We just got into the title. Well, the intro, you know what I mean. That's a lot of merch. But that comics burn. I was gonna take you all, a lesson you all learn. The comic publish, it can be your turn. Oh, yeah. Oh, they changed the lyrics on this. Hoorah. This comic sucks, Linkara. Hey! my favorite version of the Secret Invasion was Earth's Mightiest Heroes. He did pretty well.
We're covering 8 issues
they
today,
sing the
so no looking at the
song.
covers. Not that there's much to really look at with
Forever
them. They're
Fight as One.
surprisingly generic. Not bad, but it's a lot of painted, or at least painted-looking shots of heroes and villains standing around. Sometimes they're replaced with Skrulls. It's shockingly underwhelming for this event. We open on a flashback to that bit I mentioned in the intro. The Skrull Queen Varank being informed of the homeworld being destroyed, and thus her deciding to fulfill the prophecy and conquer Earth. We cut over to Tony Stark as he brings the Elektra Skrull body to Hank Pym and Reed Richards. There's a minor continuity issue here, as Tony had already shown it to him along with the other members of the Illuminati. Oh, yeah, in case you forgot World War Hulk, the Illuminati are a group of some of Marvel's most powerful or smartest heroes. Given what a poor state the world is in the Marvel Universe, you can tell they're just as bad at running things as the Illuminati that's supposed to exist here. I suppose you could say Reed is pretending not to know about it to keep the secret of the group, but whatever. Point is, they've got the body. They know, or at least suspect, that the Skrulls are up to something, so the two are tasked with finding a way of detecting them. Up in orbit, longtime S.H.I.E.L.D. supporting character Dum Dum Dugan is visiting the orbital headquarters of SWORD, the partner agency of S.H.I.E.L.D. that deals with extraterrestrial threats. Naturally, such a threat is on its way. We got a bogey, and it's coming in fast! Knowing Dum Dum Dugan's luck and history, it's probably going to be Space Godzilla. Actually, it's a Skrull ship that's on its way to crashing on Earth in the middle of the Savage Land.
Yeah, this guy right here with the top hat, the mustache, with the hat and the mustache, that's Dum Dum Dugan. I remember him being. I seen him in live action in Captain America: The First Avenger in the World War II events of Captain America's life. He was a member of the Howling Commandos. I don't know how this version of him is alive all those years. Did he freeze for 70 years?
Back over to the autopsy, the three heroes are gathered around it. Okay, Tony, what exactly are we looking for? Their nipples to start with? I mean, I know they're a reptilian species, but if they've got boobs, they should have nipples, right? Like, seriously, what kind?
Wow, a Skrull. They actually showing a naked Skrull. Good on the censorship. We got her hair is covering one part of her on her breast chest area. Reed Richards' head is covering it, and the lamp good covering on her crotch area. Wow, I forgot comics can get real sometimes. And a female Skrull disguised as Elektra.
What kind of censoring job is that, Marvel? I'm only not censoring this myself because I don't think this technically counts because of it being an alien and said lack of nipples, even in a faraway shot.
Oh wow, the uncensored part. Yeah, she doesn't even have nipples.
2 panels later, Tony is informed of the Skrull ship's crash and naturally goes out to investigate, telling Spider-Woman to summon his Avengers since this could be it. She, in turn, calls up Luke Cage to inform them too. However, the group doesn't have a jet, so with the help of the hero Cloak, they teleport in and steal the Quinjet that Black Widow is prepping for this mission. Just FYI, Tony Stark can take control of his Quinjet from his armor. Not anymore. I just gutted the motherboard. Consequently, the Skrull ship is now not the only thing that's crashing. They don't think it's Tony setting a trap, but Luke Cage is hoping that if it is a trap, it's a Skrull one. I'm so sick of hiding. I'm sick of not trusting each other. I miss my wife and kid. I want to put this right. I want things to go back to normal. Yeah, unless all or most of Congress was replaced with Skrulls, the Superhero Registration Act is still a thing, even if Tony Stark was a Skrull.
I forgot, yeah. Luke Cage and Jessica Jones are married. They have a kid. Most of y'all didn't know that. The comic books, they're still married in the comics, but I'm not sure in the MCU. It's unknown.
Actually, now that would have still worked great. Keep the character development between the heroes, but have the act be repealed so that everyone has to work out their problems with each other. Anyway, they get attacked by a dinosaur, comic books, and do indeed crash, everyone heading out to get to the crashed Skrull ship. Iron Man's Avengers soon arrive as well, Tony demanding they stand down and...
Okay, let's see you here. We got Tony Stark, guys. Miss Marvel, who will later be Captain Marvel, Black Widow, Wonder Man, I'm guessing, Sentry, and Ares, the God of War. Isn't he a villain? Isn't Ares a villain?
And let them handle this. Luke, distrustful of Tony, starts ripping open the ship, while the actual invasion begins. Dum-Dum Dugan, who was also replaced by a Skrull in an earlier book, activates bombs on the Sword satellite, blowing it up and sending its occupants into space, although contained in, like, blue jello or something. Standard safety tech, I guess. While Avengers...
Well, at least you can't say they were prepared, but you can't say they weren't prepared. In case something bad happens, they had those little things to help them out.
Butler Jarvis, also revealed as a Skrull, uploads a virus into Tony's systems. However, it seems the virus wasn't just for him. The S.H.I.E.L.D. Helicarrier, as per usual, was also hit and starts falling to the ground.
You know that joke Maria Hill says in Earth's Mightiest Heroes that the Helicarrier has a history of falling apart. Well, we see another example of that because the Helicarrier has always been destroyed in the Marvel comics because some new villain always destroys the Helicarrier.
The ground. All of Stark's systems are infected, disabling weapons, the satellites, and even prisons,
Everything
which frees supervillains to start running amok.
Of course, prison cells. Supervillains go free to cause trouble.
Novar,
thanks to the aliens.
Well, anti-hero is probably the best descriptor for him. AKA, the character Marvel Boy also decides to leave. It's important I explain that to you, because Marvel Boy is not important in this story, and we needed some padding to set up future story stuff.
Good to know.
Next hit is Norman Osborn, who at this point was actually in charge of the government-operated Team Thunderbolts.
Whoever thought putting Norman Osborn in charge was a good idea, fire that person.
Long story. And in turn, Thunderbolts Mountain, their base, is attacked by Captain Marvel. Yeah, another part of the build-up to the event. The Skrulls sent their own version of the original Captain Marvel in to do stuff as a sleeper agent, but it turns out they did their job too well with him, as he has so much of Mar-Vel's own memories and personality that he actually wants to work against them. And then over to the Baxter Building, where a Skrull infiltrates it as Sue Storm on a suicide mission, activating a portal to the negative zone that sucks in most of the building, which includes the Thing, Johnny Storm, and the Fantastics kids. And back in the Savage Land,
oh man, Sue Storm was captured by a Skrull. Man, yeah, I was worried for Reed Richards and Susan's children, Franklin and I forgot the other girl's name. Dr. Doom named the daughter a real complicated name. I'm gonna call her Allie because it starts with an A. Allie. I was worried about them because I'm glad the heroes managed to save them just in time.
And the craft opens up, revealing a crap ton of what appears to be heroes, including duplicates of some of the team there to meet them, as well as Captain America, who was dead at the time following Civil War. And this is really where I think the book overplayed its hand a bit, having a few in there to really screw with readers' heads. Iron Man, Scarlet Witch, even Sue Storm, given what we just saw, that would be fine.
Sorry about that, guys. Something froze. I had to do a little editing. If you see a little weird jump glitch, the video I was reacting to kind of glitched out on me. I had to get it fixed up, and my avatar was frozen. So I had a blank expression, and it was frozen for a while. So I had to fix it up a bit. Continue.
Dead at the time following Civil War. And this is really where I think the book overplayed its hand a bit, having a few in there to really screw with readers' heads. Yeah. Iron Man, Scarlet Witch, even Sue Storm, given what we just saw, that would be fine.
Right.
But Cap, Hawkeye, duplicates of Luke Cage and Spidey, no, it's all fake. For one thing, we've seen what happens to Skrull imposters when they die. They revert to a Skrull. And that never happened to the original Cap when he was killed. And after a Hawkeye's resurrection post-House of M, having a second Hawkeye? Nope. Same goes for Luke Cage and Spider-Man. We've been with them too much to have them turn out to be Skrulls. In-universe, it's fine. The characters have to have that doubt, but for the audience, it's asking too much of them to believe it. As the full force of the Skrull invasion fleet approaches, which instantly makes the title Secret Invasion now completely moot. We're now 2 for 2 on misleading event titles. Do we have 3 next time? Reed Richards thinks he's figured out how the Skrulls made them so undetectable, only to be shot by Skrull Hank Pym, which turns Reed into stretchy goop everywhere. And the first issue ends with him reverting to his Skrull form in Honestly, a pretty impressive artistic transition, kind of making it look like the Skrull skin is wrapping itself around the human bits and strands. Kudos to Lainell Francis
Yeah, it's
Yu on the
nice
art
art
here.
style.
Less
I
so
must
on
give
the
it.
final panel, where it seems this particular Skrull is infected with Youngblood's disease, and he's just grimacing awkwardly. Ew, I
looks
didn't know
like
the
Than-
gun was gonna do
looks
that
like
to him.
Thanos in
I have to
that
clean him
side
up and
view.
bring him to the others now, and he's everywhere. Anyway, issue 2 picks up with the encounter in the Savage Land. Chaos, and a fight, soon erupts as either side tries to assert authority or figure out what's going on, or just generally being pissed at the presence of a duplicate of the other. Carol Danvers flies Tony off to a wrecked structure nearby to help him recover, while dialogue is exchanged and insults and assertions are made. And then there's a T-Rex that wanders in to scatter them all. The funniest answer to all this is that only the T-Rex is a Skrull. The structure is a former laboratory.
That would be funny. And that would be funny if that was true. Because I know some of them are Skrulls, some of them are not. But the T-Rex coming out of nowhere, that's a bit much.
So Tony hopes to use it to rebuild his armor and technology from scratch to deal with the virus. He orders Carol to go head back to the mainland, that clearly this is just a big distraction to get them all out of the way while the main action happens elsewhere. I built my armor from a lot less than this. I'm gonna do the one thing Skrulls can't imitate. Use my brain. Unfortunately, it turns out this was a former entomology lab, so Tony is stuck trying to make new armor out of dung beetles.
Well, pretty much. The fact that Tony is using old, outdated technology to keep his armor alive and his heart alive is impressive. Shows how smart and gifted he is. And people nowadays treat Tony Stark as the smartest character in the MCU. And spoilers out there, if you haven't watched Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and for those who, the spoilers, this is a spoiler, yeah, Reed Richards is still the hands down the smartest character in the Marvel universe. And I bet you wonder, if he's so smart, then why did he reveal Black Bolt's powers to Scarlet Witch? Well, for one thing, this isn't our Reed Richards. This is Reed Richards from Earth 828. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, is from Earth 828, not 616. Not the real Reed Richards, an alternate universe. Remember, multiverse. He is so arrogant. Reed was probably so arrogant and doesn't believe that Wanda is a threat because they always thought. Not only does Reed Richards thought Wanda was not a threat, Black Bolt, Professor X, their version of Miss Marvel, and Captain Carter, they don't believe Doctor Strange is a. They don't believe Doctor Strange. They believe Doctor Strange is the biggest threat because of their version of Doctor Strange. Even though Doctor Strange from our universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, who is basically Earth 19999, but now been retconned as Earth 616. I'm not going to call it Earth 616 because there's only one Earth 616, and that's the comic books. So I'm calling it Earth 616B. Earth 616B. That's what I'm calling it. And that version of Doctor Strange is telling them that Wanda's the biggest threat. And they won't listen. They were probably arrogant. So they didn't estimate how powerful Wanda is. They only worry about Doctor Strange. And that kind of cost them. And yeah, most of the characters in the MCU are weaker than their comic book counterparts because the comic book counterparts are insanely strong.
Also, Tony Stark, cave, box of scraps meme, you know the drill. While she flies off, Luke Cage and Wolverine reunite, discovering that the Spider-Man who was on the Skrull ship got trampled by the T-Rex, and is remarkably intact given that.
Oh man, the Skrull's biggest mistake, wearing the classic Spider-Man suit. I can tell because the original Spider-Man logo, the web wings, and the Skrull decided to wear this classic suit thinking he can fool anyone, not knowing that the real Spider-Man has a more modern look of the Spider-Man costume we all know.
But he was a Skrull, as we can see. So maybe they're just really pliant. Although their clothes aren't,
really
since
durable.
apparently that pointy Skrull ear just needed to shoot out. Nearby, the two find another person who was on the transport. Bobby Morse, aka Mockingbird. The Hawkeye that was with her is also dead and revealed as a Skrull, and she seems to be crying about this, but Wolverine just believes her to be yet another imposter. Insert your own Among Us joke here. Oh, wait. This one is relevant given what Quentin Reviews just put out.
Among Us.
She claims that they knew
Oh, the Among Us memes will never stop.
That some among their number could have been Skrulls, but that this sucks for her. The real Hawkeye, who's technically going by the name Ronin at this point, but for simplicity's sake, just gonna keep referring to him as Hawkeye, is nearby and shoots at Wolverine to get him to back off. He and Mockingbird, before she died in the late 90s, were an item, so he needs confirmation if it's her or not. As such, he tests her. Tell me something about October 12th. Linkara released his review of The Ring Volume 1 really late into the month. That was October 16th. Wait, he released his review of Nightmare on Elm Street Paranoid number 3? Wrong! It was the second issue, not the third, Skrull! The actual significance is that the two were apparently going to have a child that would have been born on October 12th, but she had a miscarriage and they didn't tell anyone about it. As such, Hawkeye believes her to be the genuine article. Back in Manhattan, as the Baxter Building continues to eat itself, the Skrull ships arrive and start bombarding the city, as well as unleashing a small armada of Super Skrulls. Since I don't think we've covered them before, Super Skrulls are members of their force who have been enhanced specifically with the powers of various heroes, usually a combination of them for each. Some of the choices here are questionable.
Yeah,
like, what the hell is even up with those claws, Wolver Skrull?
But
yeah, that ends issue 2. Issue 3 opens with the SHIELD Helicarrier in the waters of the Bermuda Triangle. This is in spite of the fact that when we first saw the Helicarrier falling, it was over a massive city that I kind of presumed to be New York. Although it is the Bermuda Triangle and this is the Marvel Universe, it's entirely possible that's like a secret city of gopher people who all live in the Bermuda Triangle. Maria Hill leads the SHIELD agents to get weapons and head to the flight deck. I've had the same car since I was 19 years old. Never had a problem. Yet this thing falls out of the sky every other Thursday. Yeah, but the fact that it...
Yeah, that's the same line she says in the Earth's Mightiest Heroes. So that's where they got that line from. Okay.
Keeps getting back up again is probably a testament to good craftsmanship at least. On the flight deck is the Skrull impersonating Jarvis, who wants Maria Hill's surrender. Back over at Thunderbolt's Mountain, the Captain Marvel Skrull gets ready to kill some of them, but he can't seem to bring himself to do it. Norman Osborn, seeing an opportunity, decides to talk to him. My name's Norman Osborn. This is my office you trashed and my people you smacked around. Would you like to have a drink and talk about it? Are you a clone? Because boy do I have some clone stories to tell you, bud.
Classic Norman Osborn. He does not care about collateral damage. He sees an opportunity for power, he will take it. He's a prick.
Also going to take this opportunity, since he's on the page, to note that I absolutely hate how Marvel books of the last 20 years have drawn Venom with...
Oh yeah, this is Venom. During the Civil War and Secret Invasion. This is Scorpion. Matt Gargan. Spider-Man's villain. He had the symbiote at the time. And I believe Eddie Brock had the anti-symbiote.
With human eye holes on the face. Completely ruins his monstrous visage and instead just looks like a guy with goofy white face paint around said eyes. Anyway, the Hank Pym Skrull summons the heroes being trained for the 50-state initiative and sends them to New York to fight the Super Skrulls. The Young Avengers are already there engaging the Super Skrulls as they arrive to help. Back in the Savage Land, Spider-Woman meets up with Tony Stark and reveals herself as a Skrull, claiming that he is as well, that he's been a deep cover operative this whole time who was around specifically to divide the heroes up. I don't know if anybody was fooled by this at the time, but just...
about this one.
I don't know. It feels so forced to play into what the audience wanted that it seems unbelievable to me. Sure, if they had actually revealed it was true, fine, but especially in hindsight, it doesn't really enhance the story much. The battle in New York continues. Lots of punching. Vision gets shot through the face.
Tis but a scratch.
Seriously, he's back again immediately. And before the Super Skrulls can do anything more, Nick Fury and his new Howling Commandos, or Secret Warriors as they're later called, suddenly show up and he uses a massive gun to...
The OG Nick Fury when he was Caucasian, when a Caucasian white guy in Earth 616. But because of Ultimate Comic Books and the MCU, people only know Nick Fury as a black guy who looks like Samuel Jackson. They don't know anything about Nick. Not many people nowadays don't know that Nick Fury is a white dude. True comic book fans know.
To blow a Super Skrull up, ending issue 3. That was less than 1 page of script to describe the major events of the 3rd issue of a massive event comic. And frankly, the stuff I left out was, like, Spider-Woman Skrull knocks person unconscious, and Hulkling fails to get the Skrulls to stop attacking him. There's nothing of story significance here. Like with
Really?
House of M during the last Event Comics month, Brian Michael Bendis is the master of stretching a story's length beyond what it should be.
Not that guy.
Now, to be fair...
Brian Michael Bendis.
To be fair.
To be fair.
To be fair, this story is not as padded as House of M was, but it's still pretty padded.
It is. Brian Michael Bendis liked to do that a lot in his stories. I mean, I thank him for making Ultimate Spider-Man Earth 1610 and Miles Morales. He's the reason he brought Miles Morales. Some of his ideas are great. Some of them not so much. Superman. Aging up Superman's son. So the new current writer can make Superman's son gay. Sorry, something in my throat.
The story is just fight scene after fight scene in various locales. Secret Invasion is unique as an event because all the actual interesting stuff happens in the tie-ins, the character drama, the cool plot points, all the stuff you wanted out of a story where the Skrulls are invading. It's not here. You have to buy everything else. This comic is here so characters can pose and punch each other. It is a story where there are a bunch of moments in it that are supposed to be cool or interesting or exciting, but they just hit with all the force of a limp spaghetti noodle.
I mean, if it was animated, it would be different. Because I feel like people say, why is the character just standing there? Or some critic, like some critic goes like, why is, when I do Sonic, when you read Sonic comic reviews, why is Sonic just standing there? I mean, it's a comic. Everyone is standing there. If it was animated, it would have been different. Yeah, if it was an animation, yeah, I would question them, why would they be standing there? Since everyone are just still images and the action is shown by those motion blurs to show that they're moving, yeah, then that's they have to show you, give you an idea of what they're doing. And then the comics like to do them like them posing, like they arrive.
Hey, this is a story about the Skrulls being religiously motivated, right? Want to see Hercules lead a band of gods against the Skrulls pantheon? Well, go to the tie-ins because it ain't here. Want to see Skrulls not part of the invasion effort having to deal with the emotional fallout of this? Not gonna see it here. Want to see the backstories and logic behind some of the Skrulls' actions and the people they send in? The fake Captain America and all they did to make him think he was the real deal? Not in this story. Go to the tie-ins. I mentioned the last time that the main event miniseries should act as the big picture of the event and how it's progressing, leaving the tie-ins to go into more detail on the smaller stuff. But Secret Invasion takes that philosophy too far.
I'm also distracted that, is that Pokeball have eyes? Did you put googly eyes on a Pokeball, on a purple Pokeball? Or am I missing something here? Because I don't know what that thing is. I think that's a Pokeball. I see you got Pokemon plushies in the back. There's an Among Us plushie. I mean, seriously, dude. Seriously. And the classic Pokeball, I'll give you respect to that. But I also give you most respect that you got the Green Rangers, the Mighty Morphin Green Rangers flute dagger in the background. I want that. Maybe in the future, but hey. And I like the Megazord. Maybe that's a Megazord. I think that's a Megazord. Hey, that's a Transformer. Never mind.
There's no emotional core to this story. No main character driving events forward. We're just seeing the broad strokes with a few bits of red herring character stuff that can't be dwelled on because we need to get to the next fight scene. Issue 4 shows us Reed Richards captured by the Skrulls and being tortured while Spider-Woman gives a monologue about their evil plan. And this bit really bugs me. The Empire has taken the planet Earth for their own. It's ours. That's happened. No! It hasn't! You control nothing! The invasion is currently underway, but you hold no territory, you're actively engaged in combat on multiple fronts, and even your agents are attempting to force a surrender from military leaders, but have not done so as of yet!
Yeah, it's the classic, the villain thinks they won, even though they haven't, cliche. They think they already won, even though there are still heroes out there attacking your agents. There are still other organizations still standing up to them. If they truly did win, the heroes would have lost completely.
See, what's funny is that Secret Empire actually got this right. Sure, the Empire wasn't a secret, but at the start of the story, The bad guys had won! America
Yeah.
was under Hydra's control! The secret invasion.
I didn't like Secret Empire, but at least they did it right. Yeah, the Secret Empire when Captain America was a Skrull. Not Skrull. Captain America was an agent of Hydra, because Red Skull used the Cosmic Cube, made a copy of Captain America and turned him into a Hydra agent all his life, while the real Captain America was trapped in a Cosmic Cube. People think Captain America was always a Hydra agent because of the events of the Secret Wars, where Earth 616 and Earth 1610, the Ultimate Universe, was colliding, and they rebooted a new universe with Reed Richards fighting Doctor Doom.
Invasion had occurred and society was dealing with it. Here, the secret invasion is not a secret, and while an invasion is technically occurring, as far as we see in just the Central miniseries, they're launching one major assault that will fail. Hence, again,
Right.
the real title of this story.
Or like damn obvious assault, am I right?
Pretty much.
Oh my god, they're shapeshifters. It all makes sense now.
Criminy, we're not even halfway
Oh,
through
man.
yet. Anyway, I know I should be
I know,
recounting
this
some of her
video's as long as it
speechifying
is.
since it's one of the few moments of proper grandiosity for this story.
Never-
but
you
her
picked the
saying
wrong
stuff
one for
like,
this one.
we're just like humans, acting as
Happy birthday. I
colonizing
hope you give your
assholes who
birthday
take what
word
they
for it.
want, and we know how you'll react, and you're just gonna turn on each other. Like, none of that comes into play later. Like some kind of clever turnaround on her, or some dramatic thesis statement or something. It's just the villain speech. Anyway, back in New York, the fight continues. Nick Fury's team, who isn't really given a proper introduction until a tie-in comic after issue 5, makes good work against the
Okay.
Skrulls, though because of tie-in shenanigans, Fury thinks Miss Marvel's a Skrull and shoots her back, leaving her against the Super Skrulls while he rescues the Initiative heroes and Young Avengers.
she
And
shot-
Spider-Woman
she shot her thinking
Skrull
she was a
just
Skrull.
says that they were playing on humanity's paranoia this whole time with their efforts. They already didn't know who to trust, and we just sat back and waited till all the paranoia had built to hysteria. We waited till they were attacking and killing each other. Man, I'd love to read the secret invasion story that she's talking about, because that's not how things were going down in the lead up to this.
Hey, Linkara, I don't know if you ever watch my videos or don't even know that I exist. Would it help to say that Earth's Mightiest Heroes did this right? Earth's Mightiest Heroes did tackle the secret invasion, Skrull invasion, and I, looking back at it now, I think they did it right.
Like, maybe if
Better
Luke
than this
Cage's
mess.
Avengers, so convinced by the Skrull infiltration, had murdered someone who wasn't a Skrull while thinking it was, that would make sense for this. But nope! We've just been finding Skrulls left and right in certain key positions.
Right.
That's all. And it's hard to call it unfounded paranoia when there really are shape-shifting aliens trying to take over the planet. Black Widow, overhearing the evil speech, gets ready to move in and deal with her, but a distraction from Skrull, Beast, and Jean Grey forces her to shoot them instead, allowing Spider-Woman to get away. Black Widow is
Okay.
unconvinced by the idea of Tony being a Skrull, that the Skrulls could have killed him at any number of times with Jessica among them, so really
Yeah,
this
Black
was
Widow
just about defeating
doesn't trust Tony Stark
breaking
at
him.
all. Even though Tony is suffering due to the pain of the virus into his suit.
And she simplifies the situation down thusly. Skrull or not, I'm asking, right now, do you want to kill me or kill them? Them! Let's go with that feeling then, and worry about the rest later.
There is logic in what he says.
While Wolverine
There is
joins the
logic.
two, helpfully shot by Black Widow to prove he's not a Skrull, in orbit, the commanding officer of SWORD,
That's one way
Agent
to prove
Brand,
if Wolverine's
seriously,
not a
no
Skrull.
code name
Shoot
for
him
her,
a couple
like
of times.
Green Brand or
If you
something.
get-
She's
if you-
just
if you-
Agent
if you-
Brand or
if you survive,
Abigail
you're the real
Brand.
Wolverine.
Manages to
If you
float
die,
over to
you're a
one of the
Skrull.
Skrull ships and goes in through an
Wolverine's
airlock,
the one with the healing
discovering
factor.
everything that's going on. And then, back on the Helicarrier, Jarvis Skrull reveals that all the agents pointing guns at him are in fact Skrulls as well, so Maria Hill is looking rather screwed. Well, check in with you next month, Maria Hill, decompressed storytelling and all that. The criminal lord known as the Hood starts organizing his forces to
I
help
never
defend
understood this
Earth.
villain,
And in the
the
city,
Hood.
the Super Skrulls have new problems on their hands as Thor and Captain America arrive. Oh, right, I should probably explain. Bucky Barnes took on the mantle of Captain America for a while after.
Yeah, I remember when I believe who was the guy? Black Skull dude. I forgot who this guy was. Man, Black Skull, not Black Skull, not Black Mask. I'm thinking about Black Mask from Batman. Hey, I forgot. He's a Hydra agent. He has a mask that looks like a skeleton with crossbones. Yes, Crossbones. Crossbones, the one who killed Captain America, Steve Rogers, in Civil War. At the end of Civil War, Captain America was killed and assassinated by Crossbones, and Bucky Barnes took up the mantle as Captain America. Yeah, and don't worry, he gets brought back to life when Spider-Man makes a deal with Mephisto to save the life of Aunt May, who was killed by Kingpin's assassin, at the cost of his unborn daughter, because for some reason Mephisto is afraid of Spider-Man's daughter if she was ever born. That, and Marvel does not want Peter Parker and Mary Jane to get married anymore, so they took away their marriage. And nowadays, toxic Twitter feminists saying that Mary Jane and Peter Parker are a toxic relationship and should never be together. I call BS on that. It's because those toxic feminist Twitter critics, people on Twitter, the toxic people on Twitter who are feminists, they hate Mary Jane Watson and they don't like it that she's attractive. They want to make her ugly. They want to make Mary Jane ugly in all medias. So they want to take away her beauty because that's what pleases them. And Marvel, I don't know why you're bending a knee to it.
After Steve Rogers' death. Be honest, though, you could totally believe that they resurrected him during the middle of an event comic, right? And that's another issue in the can. More moments that are supposed to be cool, but really offer nothing of substance. More tiny advancements in the actual non-combat portions of this. Okay. I mean, I'll give it credit. As an event, it's touching on basically every corner of the Marvel Universe, and that helps build up how this is a global crisis, and it shows the most important things going on. But that also just means we're wasting a lot of time on irrelevancy. Was anyone out there wondering what the Hood was doing during all this?
No.
And the padding nature of this event is not helped by the sheer amount of two-page spreads there are in all the issues so far. But look, we need to stretch this event out as much as possible. We don't just have tie-in issues that interrupt a regular issue, we have tie-in miniseries to go through as well. I'm not kidding. If we go by Secret Invasion #1 as the official start of the event, there are 93 individual comic issues that tie into this. Dang. And even if we were being generous and only counting tie-in miniseries as a whole instead of each issue of them, that's still 71 tie-ins. And don't get me started on all the build-up issues, which also had Secret Invasion plastered across the top of the cover. If we go by the reveal of the Elektra Skrull, there are 38 of those. And hell, I'm just going by the digital collection that I have of it. There might be more that somehow didn't make it in. No wonder there's nothing of substance in the central miniseries. It was all sucked away to go into 133 other comics.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, back on track here. Issue 5. Norman Osborn convinces the Captain Marvel Skrull to act as Earth's protector and go fight the Skrulls, organizing his own forces to join the fight. If anyone does anything out of character, shoot them on sight. Like if they slept with blonde-haired girlfriends of Spider-Man or something. That would be really weird and out of character. The recovered heroes arrive at Nick Fury's base, where we learn that all global transmissions have been jammed by the Skrulls, who instead transmit images of celebrities, politicians, superheroes, and even Stephen Colbert. Yeah, that was a thing. Colbert and Marvel were kind of doing cross-promotion stuff at the time, where the Skrulls basically say, "It's okay, everybody, we're in charge now, and our religion is the right one, and you should welcome us with open arms because you guys suck, and also we'll kill you if we disobey. The Empire has everything you could ever dream of, and things you haven't been able to imagine. Doom has a very big imagination, imposter. For instance, he is imagining the many things he will do to your pointy ears when he finds you for impersonating Doom!" Yeah, they end with "Embrace Change," that slogan used as part of the promotional campaign for the comic. And the big reveal with that is just Stephen Colbert, Oprah, John McCain, and Steve Jobs telling us to accept an alien invasion. Also, Cartman from South Park? What? Did the Skrulls transform into a cartoon character?
Wait, what? Really? Cartman from South Park? I did not notice. I didn't. That took my spot. That took me on a blind spot.
Cartman from South Park? What? Did the Skrulls
That
transform
was
into a
unexpected.
cartoon character? Oh my god, was that the first VTuber? Anyway, back in orbit,
First
Agent
VTuber.
Brand fails to bluff her way past the Skrulls that found her
I'm
and just
VTubing
shoots
right
them
now.
all, freeing Mr. Fantastic from his torture, as well as releasing all the remaining Skrulls into space. He starts working on their computer systems. At the Helicarrier, Maria Hill gets her moment of badass, and to be honest, this one I'm actually kind of in favor of. People only familiar with the MCU probably only know of Hill as Nick Fury's second in command, but in the comics, she kind of had a bad rap and reputation, only being introduced a few years before this event and being kind of a stupid asshole. Hell, it can
Pretty
be
much.
argued that her
That's how
actions
she-
jump-started the superhero civil war by her deciding to aim guns at Captain America before the Registration Act had even gone into effect. So here
Yeah,
she gets a
she's
chance to
a-
be a hero, revealing that, per a tie-in issue building
Yeah, she's a. Yeah, Maria Hill is not a good person. Is not a nice person. I mean, she's a good, but she's not a nice person about it. She's a complete jerk throughout the Marvel universe, and the MCU is probably the nicest version of Maria Hill.
up to this,
Earth's
Nick
Mightiest
Fury
Heroes
had come to her and advised her to
take of
start
it
using life
is
model decoys,
accurate to the
aka
comics.
android stand-ins, for her own safety. And thus she has done the same here as she refuses to surrender, allowing her real self to shoot the Skrulls on the deck, then self-destruct the Helicarrier. Although this might still be considered an asshole moment, I'm like 90% certain that there were still a lot of non-Skrulls on the Helicarrier, and she just blew them up. Cool jetpack, at least. Also, we never see her again in the event. Whoops.
Oh,
Back in
okay.
orbit, Reed Richards works on a device to
am I
identify
not
Skrull
surprised?
imposters, while Brand flies the ship out to the Savage Land to get the other heroes. Also,
Richards just
Captain
learning
Marvel
that his
Skrull is
family
attacking
is
the
in
other
danger.
Skrulls. It is a rare, depressing day when one has to declare, thank goodness for Norman Osborn. Black Widow's gunfire
It is-
attracted the attention of everyone else in the
fact that
Savage
we start
Land,
thinking
leading to a
Norman
new
Osborn is a
standoff
sad
between
day.
them all. Until Brand and Reed Richards arrives and shoots the Skrull identifier gun, revealing that, of course, all of the people from the crashed ship were Skrulls, including Mockingbird, much to Hawkeye's horror. After shooting her dead, he declares that he's going to murder every last one of the Skrulls, ending
man.
issue 5. Spoilers,
Hawkeye
he
is-
does not end up killing every single Skrull. Moving
no,
on to
that would be
issue
too
6,
unrealistic.
someone in the process of making this remembered, oh
It's
right,
bad.
we should probably have some character stuff and plot development,
I mean, it's
because we've
bad
only
enough
got
as it is.
3
The
more
MCU
issues.
think
Captain
Hawkeye
Marvel
is
Skrull
is
ends up
useless.
meeting with Marvel
They do
Boy
not.
and dies in his arms, telling him that he needs to help humanity because they're awesome. Well, enough of that. See you again when you show up in the final battle, being inspiring and stuff, I guess.
Right.
I kid. Like I said, this issue is a step up from the last several, but a lot of that is because they need to start moving the story towards an ending, which means advancing the few plot threads they've been arranging in this. The Skrulls reestablish global communications, only to say, hey guys, I can't help but notice you haven't unconditionally surrendered. Just FYI, we have totally already won. And come on, Earth military
Really?
forces, disobey your superiors and just not attack us. We totally haven't hit any official military or government-sanctioned groups. We only hit those superhero groups. The ones that are all government-sanctioned. Including the quasi-military organizations
Is it safe to say that the Skrulls are idiots? Yeah, the Skrulls are idiots.
designed to repel alien invasions. God, we're bad at this!
Yes,
the
they
Spider-Woman
are.
Skrull rejoins her forces and informs them of Reed Richards' escape and regrouping with the other heroes. They claim they still have an ace in the hole as long as the Wasp is with the heroes,
man.
but Spider-Woman says that plan is a last resort only. Our heroes get some character development, Tony blaming himself for bringing Spider-Woman on his team, but no regrets for the Registration Act. Again, I applaud Marvel for sticking to their guns for not just letting Tony be a Skrull to undo the damage, but at the same time, maybe it was okay for him to recognize that maybe he was wrong for other stuff. Just saying, the status quo of the Superhero Registration Act sticks around for a while afterwards.
Yeah, it
Tony
does.
just has other things going on than worrying about hunting down heroes.
I mean,
in
I just
any
got done
case,
with
a
the
lot of
story
really
where Kingpin
stupid people
tries
take to the
legal-
streets to
try
protest
make
in
all
support of the
superhero
Skrull invasion
superhero
because
activities illegal.
satire? I don't know. It goes nowhere and is best ignored as we return to Nick Fury's forces going back out to fight the Super Skrulls. They gather alongside the returning heroes and Bucky Barnes' Captain America, who meets Thor for the first time. And I guess Thor now has the power to summon the Skrulls all to Central Park? Or do they just decide to all come out en masse? Either way, Spider-Woman Skrull and all her forces show up to meet them. Mr. Fantastic pissed because he thinks they killed the other members of the Fantastic Four. You're not here to save us. It's all lies. You're here to punish us! Well, you should have thought of that before you found it funny to turn our brothers into cows. Okay, but in our defense, they were delicious. I'm not even kidding. Look up Skrull Kill Crew sometime if you want some seriously dark humor about that. Anyway, the Thunderbolts, led by Norman Osborn with a big gun, also arrived to join with the heroes against the Skrulls. Tony Stark giving one final warning for them to leave. Your hate is your own. Your judgment is your own. We are here to save you. We are here to change you. Just ignore what I said a single page ago about being pissed at the cows thing. And we're here because in spite of all that you've done to our empire, he loves you. Best twist they could have pulled, Secret Invasion is actually a Bachelor-style reality show about dating a Skrull. He who? God. Yeah? Yeah? My God has a hammer. So what you're saying is you'll join my...
The Skrulls has a weird... The Skrulls has a weird description of God. And a lot of atheists treat us... man, I don't want to get too real here. It's bad enough as it is. It's better than it is. Christians get a bad rep because of bad people.
My side, if it turns out our God owns a tool belt. And two-page spreads in a row, fight scene. Gotta say, this big group shot of Iron Man calling out Avengers Assemble doesn't look great. I've seen worse, but it feels like there's a lot of empty space, the colors all have this muted quality to them, and some of the proportions seem off.
Iron Man saying Avengers Assemble,
supposed to be back there? Or is he standing
only because
on a
Captain
rock?
America does
What's
it
up
better.
with Cassie Lang? Is she kneeling down or, like, squatting instead of standing up? Anyway, issue 7. Fight scene continues. There's not a lot to say, honestly. Like with so much else, it's about moments. Nick Fury and Norman Osborn saying the others should be in jail. Cassie Lang punching Hank.
I like the little exchange.
The Hood is supposed to be back there? Or is he standing on a rock?
I don't know what Hood is doing over there. Well,
and what's up with Cassie Lang? Is she kneeling down or, like, squatting instead of standing up? Anyway, issue 7. Fight scene continues. There's not a lot to say, honestly. Like with so much else, it's about moments. Nick Fury and Norman...
I like this. Fury, Norman, you should be in jail. So should you.
Norman Osborn saying the others should be in jail. Cassie Lang punching Hank Pym in even more giant-sized form. And my personal favorite, Spider-Man pointing out that things are probably going fine because the Watcher hasn't shown up to witness it. And then the Watcher shows up. I mean, why shouldn't I? These kind of things are basically like the season finale for us. At Avengers Tower, Jessica Jones, watching things unfold on TV, decides to go help in the fight and leaves her baby in the care of the Skrull Jarvis, not knowing who he really is. Wait, are there 2 Jarvis Skrulls? Because what happened to the one that was on the helicarrier that exploded? And then Marvel Boy shows up and takes out a bunch of Skrulls, this being his big moment. Thanks for that payoff! 3 scenes in the entire main event comic, and the end result is... he comes down and blows up some stuff. I was going to play a little party noisemaker sarcastically, but I couldn't find it, so I can't even muster up enough enthusiasm for that. I don't know, maybe if I was more invested in him and his story, this would hit differently, but, like, I didn't even remember that he existed until I read this again for the review. And maybe there are plenty of Marvel Boy fans who are mad about that this was some pivotal, important moment for the character, and I'm not doing it justice here, but that's one of the problems with event comics, and this one in particular, when it doesn't really have central characters to follow. For people like me who didn't really know about them, if you don't give us a reason to care, then he's just some random dude I didn't know about, and it doesn't really mean anything. Given the amount of build-up and tie-ins, I'd say Secret Invasion is probably comparable to Infinite Crisis over at DC. Like Secret Invasion, it shifts perspective a lot, but the book made sure to take the time to try to have brief moments where they give the reader some backstory for characters like, say, Connor Kent, who explain the emotions they're feeling and why they're taking the actions they're taking. Power Girl gets
That's
a
some good
major
stories.
focus in
I do
issues
enjoy
2 and
that.
3 and is then gone for most of the rest.
I like
but we
Power
see
Girl.
brief history snippets of her
I know
life
she
and
gets
why her
made fun
meeting
of
with
and
the Earth 2
hated because of
Superman is so
toxic
important,
feminists
while
who hates her
simultaneously
design.
using it to advance
Maybe
the
because
main
of the
plot of the
chess
book.
window.
The Earth 2 Superman
That was a
himself has
joke.
his motivations and history spelled out. Superboy Prime gets motivation and history. Batman and Wonder Woman get moments of what's driving their characters towards
Superboy
their
Prime.
plots. Yes, we get big fight scenes with hundreds
took a
of
long
characters
time
on
for
the
Superboy
panels
Prime to
and
be
plenty of moments
redeemed.
without big character-driven emotional arcs, but they're tethered by the emotional scenes that work so damn well. It's not perfect, but the moments I remember most in Infinite Crisis are the character ones. Power Girl's tearful remembrance of her past. Superboy Prime tearfully declaring that he's gonna be Superman even while he's doing horrible things. Batman angrily throwing a chair at his computer monitors because of Brother Eye taunting him. Earth 2 Superman realizing he was wrong. I don't get anything like that in Secret Invasion. The closest we get in my eyes, Hawkeye's anger over the fake Mockingbird, which is pretty much instantly forgotten as we move on to the next big fight scene. A Skrull tries to convince Tony Stark he's a Skrull and it goes nowhere, and then he feels kind of bad about having her on the team, even though there's no way he could have known. Secret Invasion is not bad because it's infuriating or offensive or full of out-of-character nonsense to serve a dumb plot. It's bad because it's boring. It's mediocre. It has a rich army of characters to call upon with a great premise for a story, and then does nothing with it in the actual main comic. Fight, 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 fight. Spider-Woman Skrull gets an arrow through her mouth, so she reverts to Varank. As such, the Hank Pym Skrull decides to use their last resort. A flashback to a tie-in shows him giving the Wasp a new version of their growth formula, and whatever was actually in it starts making her glow purple, and the energy from that flowing outwards. And thus we reach issue 8. Because of what Secret Invasion leads into, narration for the final issue is provided by Norman Osborn talking to the President about what happened during it. The Wasp wasn't so much a bomb as a biological weapon, and the effects of it were killing the Avengers. The heroes had to contain her, with Thor forming a tornado around her to keep it from spreading outwards, so she was the only casualty. And she was dead for a grand total of 3 years! I've had chair mats that lasted longer than that. Naturally, the heroes turn their rage against the Skrull Queen, but despite everyone ready to pounce on her, the kill shot actually goes to Norman Osborn, an event shown on TV for millions to view. The heroes soon get to work destroying the remaining Skrull ships, taking them prisoner, including one that Tony Stark discovered thanks to him hacking the vessels. A prisoner ship containing all the real people who had been replaced by Skrulls, including Spider-Woman, Elektra, Hank Pym, Jarvis, Elvis, I think. Unless it's actually Captain Marvel Jr., in which case that just raises a whole bunch of new questions. And indeed, the real Mockingbird, who happily reunites with Hawkeye. However, upon spotting the real Jarvis, Jessica Jones realizes that she left her baby with a Skrull. She and Luke Cage head back to Avengers Tower, discovering both the Jarvis Skrull and the baby gone, to be resolved in other comics later. As for why the Skrulls kept the heroes prisoner, it was apparently tied into how they were so undetectable. Something linking the imposters in their originals, and thus needing them alive. And on another happy note, the Baxter Building returns thanks to the events of a tie-in, none the worse for wear. On a less happy note for Tony Stark, Thor gives him the cold shoulder, reiterating his anger over the Civil War, and blames him for everything that's happened. Same goes for Bucky Cap. Secret Invasion serves as a kind of midpoint in a trilogy of event comics, from Civil War to this, and finally to Siege, which brings the Marvel Trinity back together. Maybe we'll cover that in a future event comics month if people vote for it. The Skrull prisoners admit that this invasion was their last hope since the Empire has been destroyed, so bummer for them, I guess. But yes, let's bring things around to what really Secret Invasion has been leading to. In the wake of all this, S.H.I.E.L.D. is disbanded, considered a compromised organization. A new one, Hammer, will be formed. Because of how Tony Stark's technology was taken out while he was director of S.H.I.E.L.D., he's stripped of his rank there, and there will be a formal hearing about his involvement in events. But oh, there's the hero who killed the Skrull Queen on national TV who can be in charge of Hammer, Norman friggin' Osborn. And so Secret Invasion ends with Norman now owning Avengers Tower and taking an elevator down. Something I didn't mention in the intro is that
Norman Osborn, later on, he uses all of this power and position of power just to make Spider-Man's life miserable. He's so focused on only ruining Peter Parker's life. Because remember, he knows Peter's secret identity. He knows he's Spider-Man. He wants to ruin his life, and he takes every advantage of it.
There was one other event that kind of goaded the Skrulls into this. Remember that Illuminati group I talked about? In the wake of another storyline called the Kree-Skrull War, the Illuminati traveled to the Skrull homeworld and staged a little attack of their own. Basically a warning of, don't mess with Earth or we'll come for you. It went badly, and the Skrulls' study of the Illuminati before they escaped helped them do all this. And so it is with no greater irony that if this all started because of a group of characters deciding to work together to try to shape the future, that it ends with Norman Osborn summoning a cabal of his own to shape the future his way. Namor, Emma Frost, Doctor Doom, Loki, and the Hood. This comic sucks, and it's a shame that it does, because it could have been so much more. All this build-up, all this hype, all this talk about characters not being able to trust each other, the embrace change ads making it seem like the Skrulls were actually going to win, or there would be some twist where they'd already be among us and we just have to accept the changed status quo. All this excitement over this big secret invasion, and the actual event that it led up to was a bunch of heroes standing around looking at or fighting fake heroes for a while, and then Norman Osborn is the hero. Duh, end. Sure, it's a reductive way of putting it, but that's what it really boils down to. Most of this comic is fight scenes, and not particularly good ones. Just the same chaotic, how many characters can we cram into a panel making high-energy poses as possible kind of fight scenes. Anything of substance or depth is restricted to the tie-ins, but even then it still boils down to the same issue. Skrulls attack, heroes fight back and win. Secret Invasion nowadays is more about its effects afterwards. This led into the initiative? I don't know if that's the right word. The branding of the Marvel Universe at that time, Dark Reign. Not an event, just a general thing happening in the books at the time where they plastered it onto every book as if it was an event. Where it seemed like the bad guys were in charge because Norman Osborn was now in a position of massive power in the Marvel Universe. He formed his own team of Avengers, with many actual heroes like Carol Danvers joining up with the ones on the run, like Luke Cage's group. Tony Stark was on the run too, as Osborn seized control of his company and tried to destroy him and his life, leading into events that wiped his memory of everything that had happened in Civil War and afterwards, giving us the character reset button they had avoided in this comic. And so, yeah, if they were just going to exonerate him of wrongdoing by wiping his memory, why didn't you just make him a Skrull anyway? It just seems like they had this great idea, this wonderful thing that they were going to do something special with, and then they got bored and started immediately working on the next big thing instead of letting things start getting back to normal. Which they eventually would, but let's skip past that for the moment to the other thing that Marvel loves to do with a lot of their events. Heroes fighting heroes. Next week, it's off to Civil War 2.
Of course. I think I saw the review of Civil War 2. Well, that was it. Well, that was Secret Invasion by Linkara's review. Yeah, this was a long one. Very difficult. But he did point out some points that does make sense. That this issue had some problems. Like every comic book series had problems. But hey, none of them is perfect. Anywho, thank you guys for watching. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this reaction video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. What were your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on this comic issue of Secret Invasion? Let me know in the comments down below. And happy birthday, Niven Puzzle. As always, take care, have a great day, be safe, and most importantly, stay frosty and stay healthy out there. Catch you all later.